Hello everybody and welcome to another Baldur's Gate 3 discussion video. In this video, I'm going to be going over all of the major boss battles, reviewing them, and ranking them according to three categories. Those three categories are going to be through difficulty, vibe, and rewards that you get from it. It'll be, you know, on a scale from 1 to 10, and then I'll add them all up, and then it'll be from, 1 to 30, and I'll rank them based off of that. So I went through and ranked 23 of the bosses of Baldur's Gate 3, the ones that I, stood out to me, the ones that were major enough and had enough of things to talk about, and I went ahead and put them into a list. In last place, the 23rd boss of my list is Gut. Priestess Gut is, she's not great. She's one of those bosses that it just it throws you into the game. You kind of get a feel for it a little bit. It's very early on. And yeah, there's not a whole lot to her. So for difficulty, I put her as a 2 of 10 because she's just not that hard. If you attack her in her chambers, she's really not that hard. It only gets maybe a little difficult once if other goblins get alerted and you have to fight those other goblins now. But herself, if you're careful, is not that hard at all. You can just wipe her out real quick, her ogre companion, sidekick, whatever bodyguard you want to call her, is a little bit more difficult than Gut, but overall, it's really not that hard. For vibe, I put 1 of 10 just because it's just, you meet her, you maybe get branded, she takes you to a secret room, and then you kill her. There's not a whole lot to it. It's just kind of like a quick, kill her real quick and get on with it. And for rewards, I put 3 out of 10. There's really not a whole lot of good rewards there. You get her out of the way, that way you don't have to worry about her later. You get maybe a little bit easier access to the Underdark through that secret passageway in the Saluna Temple. But other than that, you don't really get a whole lot. You also get free reign on her stuff in her place, which you get an amulet of Misty Step, and that's really only a couple good things about it. So her total is going to be 6 out of 30. Not ranking very high. In number 22, it is Dror Ragzlin. Again, he's kind of like a basic one. It's not super fancy or anything like that, It's just kind of, it's alright. For difficulty, I put him at a 4 out of 10. He's decently difficult at the level that you're at, he can deal some pretty good damage, and he's got some good guys with him that can deal more damage and shoot from afar, but overall, not super difficult. Vibe is a 2 out of 10. It's not, again, it's kind of like Gut, where you're just kind of going in and killing him real quick. You kind of get that little bit of attention with him speaking with the dead Illithid, the dead Mind Flayer, where you're like, oh, don't find out it's me that killed him, all that kind of stuff, when you're trying to influence him and stuff. But overall, it's just you go in there real quick and kill him. As for rewards, I did put this a little higher as 6 out of 10. His rewards himself isn't great. You get a hammer or what, you get a couple of alright things, but it's mainly the gold and his loot stash that you get access to. So you get his key that you can open up this stash of his, and that's where, that's why I put the rewards higher, is you get access to that. So the total for Dror Ragzlin is 12 out of 30. At number 21, I have Anti-Ethel. Anti-Ethel is getting up there in the more interesting battles and the more interesting bosses. For difficulty, I put her at 6 out of 10 because she's fairly difficult. She, creates copies of herself that then you have to guess which one's hers and while she's attacking. You got Mayrina there, so you have to worry about her and making sure that she's safe. Unless you're not worrying about that, then it gets a little bit easier to fight Anti-Ethel. But including Mayrina and trying to keep her alive, it does get a little bit more difficult as you have to try and balance saving Mayrina and killing Anti-Ethel and all of her duplicates. And for vibe, I put 3 out of 10. It's a little bit better than the previous two, but again, it's still just kind of you're going in there and killing her. It's kind of nice you have that interaction in the tea house beforehand, but then you go through her hag area, her lair, and that's kind of cool to see all that stuff. But then the actual battle itself, you're kind of just there. She's like, oh, I'm gonna kill Mayrina, and then you try to kill her instead. And that's pretty much it. As for rewards, I have 6 out of 10. You do get some pretty decent rewards. You get the hag hair that can increase one of your ability scores permanently, so that's pretty nice. And you can get some stuff with the bitter divorce, which you can, potentially raise Mayrina's husband back from the dead, which personally I've never used. I've gotten the opportunity to use it one time, and I just never used it. So if you use it, cool. But then you get a couple other like spells and they're like potions and stuff like that, you know. So there's a couple good loot with it. So for Anti-Ethel, the total comes out to be 15 out of 30. At number 20, I have Nier. Nier is, you know, like I said, getting a little up there. He's getting a little bit more difficult. So for difficulty, I have 6 out of 10. It is pretty difficult because if you fight him, then you have like all of the Duergar to fight as well. So not only is he pretty powerful with his spells and his attacks, but also you have all these Duergar trying to attack you as well. So that makes it a little more difficult. For vibe, I have 4 out of 10. It's kind of satisfying. The only reason why I put it like at 4 out of 10 is because it's a solid battle. Like, you kind of hate Nier, at least I hate Nier, because of like how he is and how he treats others and his arrogance. It's satisfying when you get to fight him and kill him. So for that, I put at 4 out of 10. For awards, I have 6 out of 10 because you do get some pretty good loot. I mean, the Duergar around him, it's a lot of basic stuff, but he himself, I mean, you get a Mind Flayer tadpole, and you get these really cool boots that allow you to do Misty Step, no, you don't get enwebbed, all that kind of stuff, and they're just really nice boots, and I've almost always had them for a really long time after I killed Nier. So the total for Nier will be a 16 out of 30. Now, number 19, I have Oliver. He's not a very difficult encounter. There's a couple of like tricky things with it, but overall, it's just like, it's more rewarding than it is difficult in that case. So for difficulty, I put 4 out of 10. It's really not that bad. I mean, I've only technically fought Oliver like one time, and he has like 2 wraiths with him, and you just kind of play the battlefield a little bit, you know, with it. So it's not like super difficult. For vibe, I have 5 out of 10 just because you're trying to, you know, it's a little bit more interesting. You're trying to fight him and save him. You're saving him by fighting him, so it's kind of like trying to redeem him and like clear him from the shadows and whatnot. For rewards, I put 7 out of 10 mainly because, I mean, if you beat him, the Shadow Curse is free, so that's mainly why I have a reward for that, because you don't really get like a lot of loot from him or anything like that. You kind of just get that reward of cleansing the Shadow Curse land, so that, I think it's a pretty good reward. So his total is going to be 16 out of 30, same as Nier's, so he's on the same level as Nier. Number 18, I have Zarel. Zarel is a little bit more difficult than the previous 2. Zarel can be a little bit more difficult, but around the same. But so for difficulty, I put 6 out of 10. Zarel herself is not super difficult. I mean, she's got like 3 mirror images, so as long as you keep trying to hit her with things, those mirror images will go away and she'll be a lot easier. But it is a little bit more difficult because you don't just fight Zarel, you fight like a bunch of other like acolytes and other paladins and of the absolute, so in that case it's more difficult. But Zarel herself is not particularly difficult. She has a couple spells that are annoying and has that mirror image, but overall it's not horrible. For vibe, I put 6 out of 10 because it's kind of cool. It's climactic because you're fighting against Moonrise Towers, you're raiding Moonrise Towers, and I mean, especially if you have Jaheira with you, it makes that much more, you know, embellishing and like, oh, like we're raiding Moonrise Towers, we're going after Ketheric, and she's just a stepping stone between us and Ketheric Thorm. For awards, I put 4 out of 10 because it's not great. I mean, like I said, she's just a stepping stone pretty much to get to Ketheric Thorm. She does have a couple good things on her. You know, she has a pretty good shield and stuff, but overall, it's not super rewarding. You just kind of get through it. You get a bunch of experience from it and stuff, but like that's pretty much it. So for total, it's 16 out of 30, same as Nier and Oliver. At number 17, I have Lorroakin. Again, Lorroakin is also at the same level as Nier, Oliver, and Zarel. They're all pretty similar vibes, I feel like. So for difficulty, I have 6 out of 10 because he's fairly difficult. He is only like 1 person, and he's got 4 Myrmidons that are really annoying. And the reason why, I mean, he would be pretty easy, but the reason he's at a 6 out of 10 is because of those Myrmidons. You know, they give him a bunch of buffs. He gets resistance to damages. He gets like a reaction that he can deal a bunch of elemental damage to people. So that's kind of annoying. You gotta like knock that out pretty quickly. But he himself, a lot of times whenever I fight him, I always kill Lorroakin before the Myrmidons, even though they buff him up. So really, you can just honestly target him pretty hard and you'll pretty much be fine. For vibe, I have 5 out of 10. It's all right because, I mean, you're fighting against him trying to enslave Dame Aelin. and you kind of just he's just like an arrogant, selfish wizard who just wants immortality, and there's not much else with it. It's just, yeah, we're just killing a pompous wizard. As for rewards, I put 5 out of 10. It honestly, his rewards are very underwhelming. They're very disappointing. He himself does not have a lot on him. It's not great. The only good thing about it is that once you kill him, you can kind of freely go to actually, his vault and what's below him, and that's what's really good. Not him, not his battle or his stuff, because you can go to that stuff without fighting him. So it just makes it a little bit easier. So his rewards is like a 5 out of 10. I mean, the rewards below are higher than that, but he himself was 5 out of 10. Disappointing. So his total is going to be 16 out of 30, same as Zarel, Oliver, and Nier. Number 16 on the list is Yorgir. Now, Yorgir is a little bit more of a fun battle for me personally. I just kind of like the way that it is. I like the battlefield. It's just kind of a cool battle. I mean, you're fighting an Orthon, and yeah, you got all these Maragons around him, and it's just, I don't know, I like the flavor of it a little bit more. For the difficulty, I put 6 out of 10 because it is a little difficult. Like I said, you got all these Maragons that are fighting you, and it's kind of annoying when you have all these Maragons fighting you. You have Yorgir, who throws orthonic hand bombs that, blow up after a couple of turns. And then he also disappears, and so you will have to either use AoE for him or hope that he doesn't become invisible on his turn. And then he also has a Displacer Beast Companion that will also attack you and hurt you a lot. So there's a lot of different elements with this battle, and that's why I had it at 6 out of 10. For vibe, I have 5 out of 10, because like I said, the vibe of it's kind of cool. I mean, you're fighting an Orthon, there's a Displacer Beast, he's got all these Maragons. It's just kind of a cool thing. You can tell that he's powerful and that all these guys are strong, and so, the stakes are a little bit higher because you know that they're a little stronger. And then for reward, I have 6 out of 10. It comes with some really cool things. I mean, you get like one of those gems that you can put in for the, to get to the Night Song. But other than that, I mean, you get a really cool hand crossbow. It's really cool to see what you get from him. The loot's pretty good with it too. For a total, I had him at 17 out of 30. So it's pretty middle ground. Yeah, it's pretty good fight. At number 15, I have Balthazar. Balthazar is pretty even with Yorgir. For difficulty, I had him at 8 out of 10. He is difficult. I mean, he's got his flesh golem, a couple ghouls, and if they don't die before, you got reconstituted marksman. And Balthazar is able to cast like Cloud Kill, Ray of Sickness. He can raise up his ghouls from the dead if you kill them. And so it's a little bit hard because of that Cloud Kill, especially because he just does a bunch of damage. He can raise his people. So you got to really try to kill him first before really messing with anybody. While trying to deal fire damage to the flesh golem. It's a lot of things to keep in mind, and you got to get things done quickly, otherwise it can get really out of hand. For vibe, I had 5 out of 10. There's not a whole lot with it. You kind of just show up. Balthazar expects you to do his bidding, and if you don't do his bidding, then you fight him then and there. Pretty simple. And if you do his bidding, then you fight him in the Underdark, and it's kind of the same thing where you are like, oh, well, I'm not going to let you take the Night Song, and then you fight him there. So it's either way, it's just kind of like you're going against what he's saying or telling you to do and not being obedient, and therefore he wants to kill you. As for rewards, it's 4 out of 10. There honestly is not a lot of good rewards for killing Balthazar. It's just kind of like to get him off your back and get some experience, because there's just not a lot of good rewards. Yeah, you get like the Circlet of Bones, and it's really only good if you're doing like a Necromancer route, so it's really only very niche of an item that you could get from him, so it's not super helpful. So overall, I had him at the same as Yorgir, a 17 out of 30. At number 14, I had Steel Watcher Titan. So this one is around the same as Yorgir and Balthazar, and it's just kind of like, there's not like a whole lot of like flavor to it, because he's just like, oh, big Steel Watcher dude, So he doesn't really have a personality. But for difficulty, I had 6 out of 10. It's fairly difficult, but at the same time, pretty easy. He telegraphs all of his attacks. You really only have to worry about the Steel Watchers that are, with him. Those Hellfire Steel Watchers are very annoying to deal with. And you just as long as you are smart with it and you know, dodge his telegraphed attacks, it's fairly easy to beat. So I mainly have it at 6 out of 10 because it is a high level encounter, and if you don't watch out, you can get messed up pretty bad. For vibe, I had 6 out of 10. It's only this high because of the kind of the effect that this is. You know, like I said, it's like this big steel watcher, giant machine, and then if you kill him, you get to blow up the entire factory. It's like, you know, it's like more heroic. It's like, yeah, let's kill the steel watchers and all that, you know. So the vibe is only there because of like the stakes and what it is. Other than that, it's not like a lot's going on. It's not like, you know, he's talking to you or anything. He's just there and you're killing him because he's a giant steel watcher and you're trying to take down the steel watch. For rewards, it's 5 out of 10. Really, the only reward you get for this is to blow up the factory. That's mainly what it is. I have it at 5 out of 10 just because it's very satisfying to blow up the entire factory. Now, you do get one piece of really good loot called Gaunter Mail, and it is a really good bow. I do highly suggest that you guys look at it and use it, but it is like, if you don't use your bows, it's not going to be great, you know, but it is still a really good piece of equipment for you to have. So overall, I had the total to be at 17 out of 30, so it's the same as Balthazar and Jorgir. At number 13, I just went ahead and lumped them all into one because they're pretty much all the same. The Githyanki bosses. Now, these Githyanki bosses consist of Chirai Wawargaz, Chirai Tskaan, Prelate Lyrique, and Chirai Harak. You know, 3 of them work for Vlaakith, and one of them is the head monk of Orpheus, and so they're all pretty much the same in terms of what I'm going to be rating them off of, so I just lumped them together because they're pretty much the same. For difficulty, I had 5 out of 10. The hardest one here is the Prelate Lyrique. It's mainly because she's a monk. And monks are broken and they're really high level monks, but 5 out of 10, they're pretty decent. They're decently hard. It'll give you troubles, but like not enough troubles to like actually really seriously worry about. You know, especially get that Cyanide Detector, the Quanith, and you're ready and prepared for Chirai Tskaan's attack, then you're good to go. Vibe, I had 4 out of 10. There's not a whole lot of flavor with it. The one that has the most flavor is probably Chirai Wawargaz's and Prelate Lyrique's attack, because Wawargaz is, well, you know, this is the Kresh, you're going in, you're confronting Vlaakith, and it's big whole thing, rebelling against the Githyanki and all that stuff, so it's kind of a big moment. And then for Prelate Lyrique, it's the Astral Prism, and you're finding out about the Emperor, and it's all this thing of like, Emperor Illithid, let's fight the Githyankis and unfortunately subdue Orpheus. So those vibes are pretty good. They're better than the other ones. Because for Tskaan, I mean, it's just they're coming after you because you defied Vlaakith, and it's like, okay, well, you're just here because we defied Vlaakith. Same thing for Harak. It's you go to the Emperor's hideout, and she's there because you defied Vlaakith. Now for rewards, the reason why this one's so higher is because I rated the rewards for these 9 out of 10. Now most of a couple of them that are alright, but it's not necessarily what they have specifically. It's more of what defeating them can lead to. For Wawargaz, the reward is actually pretty good for what you can get to. If you kill Wawargaz, I mean, obviously you can, you know, interact with Vlaakith, interact with, you know, your Dream Visitor if you go to the Astral Prism. But not only that, you get to loot that entire area, and you get to go through a secret passageway and get the Blood of Lathander, which the Blood of Lathander is a fantastic mace. If you've never used it before, I highly recommend looking it up and using it. So that's why I mainly rated this one 9 out of 10, because you can get Blood of Lathander from killing Wawargaz. Tskaan, you don't really get a whole lot from. I mean, you get the Harakanir bracers that can be good if you're into telekinesis and Mage Hand, but most of the time I don't even use those. But you can just proceed into Act 3 at that point. Prelate Lyrique, you don't get really good loot from her. The main reward from killing Lyrique is you get to, you know, befriend the Emperor and not become a Mind Flayer and yada yada yada. So that one's pretty good too, I guess. And for Harak, you do get the Boots of Psionic Movement, which is pretty good, but I also lump that into, if you do kill Harak, then you get access to the Emperor's equipment, you know, which has the great sword, the armor. So yeah, I lump that kind of all in together. because, I mean, you can get the Emperor stuff without fighting her, but most of the time you're going to fight her first. So it's nice to get past that, and then that way you can also get the Emperor stuff in addition to the Boots of Psionic Movement. So overall, I had this at an 18 out of 30 for all the Githyanki bosses combined. At number 12, I have Marcus. Marcus is a pretty decent fight. I mean, the stakes are pretty high. He wants to take Isabel and run off with her, which in doing so would doom the entire Last Light Inn. So the stakes are pretty high with it because you don't want to kill everybody in Last Light Inn. So for Marcus, the difficulty I had at 7 out of 10, and I had this because fighting Marcus himself is not necessarily that difficult. The difficulty comes from trying to keep Isabel alive, pretty much. And that's where the difficulty is. You know, you can handle Marcus probably fine, but you gotta keep Isabel alive, and that's what's difficult. With all the winged horrors that come in, and Marcus trying to, knock her out, it gets a little difficult when you try to keep her alive. For vibe, I had 6 out of 10. Depending on the route you can take, this could change potentially. If you go the basic route of him not saving you from Jaheira, and you just kind of walking in and, getting introduced, and you don't even know Marcus, and he just all of a sudden comes in, and you're like, who are you? Then the vibe is kind of like, it's off, because he's just kind of coming in, and you're like, who are you? And he's like, I'm taking Isabel, and you're like, no. So the vibe there is a little bit different, but if you do talk to him when you're dealing with Jaheira, then it's a little bit more of that connection, because then you can either take the route of, like, if you don't oust Marcus, then he comes in and you're kind of like, quote unquote, on his side. But if you decide to fight him, then it's kind of like I'm actually going back on it. Or if you point him out to Jaheira and he's like, I've been caught, let me run away, and then it comes back in to try to steal Isabel. There you go. There's some story there. He's like, hey, how dare you oust me? Yeah. You have a connection there. For rewards, it's 5 out of 10, and you don't really get a whole lot of good, you don't really get good loot from him. I mainly have 5 out of 10 because the whole reward is saving Last Light Inn from the Shadow Curse. So that's pretty good reward, I'd say. It's worthy of a 5 out of 10, I'd say. So for the total, I have 18 out of 30, which is around the same as the Githyanki bosses. At number 11, I have Gortash. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about it. I don't know if this is controversial, but I was very disappointed by Gortash's fight. I'm gonna be completely honest. For difficulty, it's a solid 6 out of 10. It's really not that difficult. If you plan properly, if you destroy those little things up on the wall and use a lot of AoE, you'll be fine. A lot of times I've beat him with Insect Plague, with Ice Storm, with Fireball. Like, I use AoE, get a bunch of them out of there. You won't really have to worry about them too much. Especially, even when he turns into an Acolyte of Bane, it's not that much of an increase in power to him. It's kind of underwhelming. So I was very disappointed with that. For the vibe, I have 5 out of 10. Again, it is just kind of disappointing. You just get into a fight. You just talk a little bit, and then you fight. There's no, like, grand reveal. There's no anything like that, Like, you fight him, you get him down low enough, he just, in combat, there's no cutscene or anything. In combat, he just becomes Acolyte of Bane, and then continues the fight, and then you kill him, he's just dead. There's nothing special about this fight. And the only reason why he's this high is because the rewards are really good. So when you loot him, you get, like, his Netherstone, you get his gauntlet thing, you get some armor stuff, equipment, and it is really cool. The stuff that you get from Gortash is pretty good loot, and that's the only redeeming quality of this fight. So his total is going to be 18 out of 30, same thing as Marcus and the Githyanki bosses. We are now at the top 10 bosses, in my opinion, in Baldur's Gate 3. At number 10, we have Viconia Devere. Viconia is a cool fight. It's flavorful. It's intense. There's a lot of different aspects you can take to it. For difficulty, I have 7 out of 10. This can also vary a lot, because if you're going good Shadowheart route, then you're gonna have to fight Viconia and all of the Sharans in that area. So it gets a little difficult whenever you have to fight all of the Sharans and Viconia at the same time, because they got, you know, she got spells, they got spells. It gets a little hard. But if you go evil route, then you can convince, you know, you have Shadowheart convince some of the Sharans to take her side, and then that way you have some Sharans to aid you in the fight against Viconia, and it makes it a little bit easier there. For vibe, I have 5 out of 10. It's like, it's flavorful, but like not super flavorful. You kind of, again, you kind of just like get into it. Shadowheart, if you're really into Shadowheart's story, it'll be higher for you. But for me, I'm not like super into Shadowheart's story, so it was like all right for me. But I thought it was cool that Shadowheart got the chance to come back and either confront Viconia or take Viconia's place. For rewards, I have 7 out of 10. It's pretty cool. I like the rewards. Viconia drops some really cool loot, and I've used them in my playthroughs before. They have to obviously work well with your character. I mean, it's just clothing, it's not armor, so it has to work well with your character, but it's pretty good loot. But you also can get a really cool shield and a really cool mace, so those loot drops are really good. So for her total, I had 19 out of 30. Number 9, I have Ketheric Thorm. So Ketheric Thorm, and I'm just including like the first section of Ketheric Thorm's fight. Merkel's a whole other story, but this is just Ketheric Thorm. For him, the difficulty, I have 8 out of 10 because, I mean, he's like a paladin. He hits hard. He hits really hard. The first time you battle Ketheric Thorm, I mean, you got him, you have Squire, his dog, you have all these necromites around, you also have a wizard to deal with, and there's a lot of things going on here. You could die here, you know. It does make it a little bit easier because before going into the Illithid colony, you can take a long rest before jumping into the hole. And then you get to his final stand, and it is still difficult there as well because, like I said, he hits really hard. He's Paladin. Paladins hit really hard. And then it depends on, you know, where you go from there. If you saved Dame Aelin, you get Dame Aelin's assistance in those battles, and that makes it easier, but if you don't, then it's like really hard. And then also, if you saved Isabel, she's not there, but if you didn't save Isabel, then you also have to fight Isabel in that fight, and that also makes it harder. She's not super hard to kill, but it's just another thing you have to worry about. But not only that, you get Necromites you have to worry about, you have an Illithid, you have Mind Flayer to worry about, you have Intellect Devourers to worry about, and it's just... And they're all over the place too. They're not like clumped up, you know, they're all over the place. So it's a lot to worry about, and you want to try to kill Ketheric fast because he's a big paladin and he's gonna hurt. For vibe, 8 out of 10. I love Ketheric Thorm. I love his vibe. I love the voice acting done by J.K. Simmons. I love his delivery, his speech, his monologues. He gets 2 monologues, and they're both great. It's just, it builds up to it. As the first of the Chosen that you fight and you meet, they really do a good job at building him up and making him so powerful and daunting, and, you know, it's commanding. It's just super cool to have that kind of feeling for a boss battle. For rewards, I have 3 out of 10. Like I said, Merkel is different, so we're going to go into that later. But specifically, when you fight Ketheric, rewards 3 out of 10. You don't get very many rewards by fighting him, because you technically don't kill him. If you kill him, he becomes Merkel, and that's not a good reward. But the first battle, if you bring him down low enough, he dips out and escapes, and the only reward you're left with is this ring in the chest behind him, and it's not even a good ring. I mean, it's a good ring if, like, you want to do necromancy stuff, but it's really not a good ring. With that, I have his total being at 19 out of 30, which is the same as Viconia. At number 8, we have Cazador. Now, Cazador is fun, especially if you're into Astarion story and romancing Astarion, all that jazz, which I do really like Astarion's story and his character, and I mean, I like romancing him, even if he is pompous and dramatic, but, you know, it's fun. For Cazador, I have his difficulty being 8 out of 10. He is pretty difficult if you're not prepared for it and you don't know what to do. I mean, the first time that I played it, I didn't really know what to do exactly because there's some different elements in it that I didn't realize, so I kind of had to look some stuff up first. But as long as you stand on those little circles, that stops him from siphoning the life power of his spawns, he's not easy, but he's not like super difficult. You know, you just got to stop him from completing the ritual, and then you can proceed like normal. But even then, it's not very normal. I mean, Cazador is a vampire, very strong vampire. He's got bats that constantly spawn in. He's got werewolves. He's got ghouls. He even has like a wizard, a undead wizard he got to fight and worry about. So there's a lot of different things going on, a lot of different allies that you have to kill first because he's super powerful. But the best thing you can do for Cazador is cast Daylight in the center, and that should help you a lot with his fights. For vibe, I had 7 out of 10, and again, this will fluctuate based off of how well you like Astarion story. I put it at 7 out of 10 because I really like how Astarion story and how Cazador and their, how they intertwine. And it's just so cool when you finally kill Cazador. I mean, the stakes are ridiculous because you have to worry about, well, he's gonna kill these 7 spawn, including Astarion, and he's gonna, sacrifice 7,000 souls. So it's very, very intense. And if you're going the evil route, you want Astarion to take his place, and so you're trying to do everything you can to make Astarion take his place. But if you're taking the good route, then you want to stop him at all costs and kill him. So like the stakes are pretty high, it's pretty intense, and whenever you finally do kill him, it's just rewarding because then Astarion gets this super emotional moment where he finally kills him. He's free. He's like melting down. It's just a good scene. As for rewards, I have 7 out of 10 for the rewards. You get some pretty good loot with it. Either way, I mean, you kill Cazador. I mean, you get his staff and his dagger, which could be really good whether you're giving it to Astarion or even just like Gale or a wizard or whatever, His staff and his dagger are really good. And I mean, if you go the evil route, you get an even better reward by having Astarion become the Vampire Ascendant, and you get Astarion's help in a way. You get a better version of Astarion's help in the final battle. So he can call in allies for you to fight with. So overall, I had him at 20 out of 30. At 7th, I have Ansur. Ansur is just a really cool fight. It's one that's not needed at all, but it's just there as extra flavor, extra lore building, and it's a really cool moment. For difficulty, it's 7 out of 10. It's not like horribly difficult, but you're fighting an undead bronze dragon. That in it of itself is very difficult. You have lightning to deal with, you have just this giant dragon, and you also have like elementals. It's intense. For vibe, I have 8 out of 10. It's so cool. You get a really cool cutscene that introduces Ansur and shows you the relationship between Ansur and the Emperor, and you learn some things about the Emperor that you never would have otherwise. And it's really, really cool moment and cutscene that's like fueled with emotion, and you can feel the tension. Rewards, I have 7 out of 10. The rewards are really cool. You get a couple of things from Baldurin's history. You get Baldurin's Giant Slayer and the Helm of Baldurin, and both of those are really good pieces of equipment. They're both legendary, and if I fight Ansur and I get those things, I make sure to always use them. If I can, that is. So I have his rating at 20 out of 30, same as Cazador. At 6th, I have Orin. Orin is like not an amazing boss fight, but it is just cool. A lot of the redeeming qualities of this boss battle with her is the fact that she turns into the Slayer. Because if she didn't turn into the Slayer, it wouldn't be nearly as interesting. So for difficulty, I have 8 out of 10. It's a pretty difficult fight. Like I said, she turns into the Slayer. She gets all these attacks, these multi-attacks, slaying she's super powerful in her Slayer form. And not only that, but those people around the circle, those ritualists, they keep giving her unstoppable basically up to unstoppable 7. So you either have to hit her 7 different times every turn, or just try to wipe those ritualists out as fast as you can. For vibe, I have 7 out of 10. It's a really cool vibe. I mean, you're in the Temple of Baal. It's super dark and dramatic. You're fighting the Lord of Murder's Chosen. She transforms into this giant beast. It's pretty intense. As for rewards, I have 7 out of 10 for the rewards. You get some pretty cool stuff with her. Her blades are really cool and really nice. Her armor's pretty decent. It's not amazing, but it's good if you're a rogue or you use disguise self, or it's good for those things. But you also get her netherstone, and you're able to loot the back room, like her bedroom, I guess that's what it's called. So for her total, I have 22 out of 30. We're in the top 5 bosses now. So at number 5, I have Grim. I know you may be thinking, Grim, what do you mean? Why Grim? Well, there's a reason for this. So his difficulty, I have a 7 out of 10. He's pretty difficult. You have to think a lot with him. You have to coordinate it out. I mean, every time I go there, I have to like separate my entire party and, you know, put somebody at the valve, the lava valve, put somebody at the hammer lever, somebody to aggro him. It's a whole big thing. Because, I mean, you have to superheat him with the lava, because if you don't superheat him, he's immune to everything. And once he's superheated, you have to lure him into the center, hit him with a giant hammer, which then gets rid of his superheated condition, and then which makes him immune to everything. So you have to drag him off of that center platform into the lava, and then bring him back onto that center platform to then hit him again with another hammer strike. And not only that, you also have mephits that happen. They just come in here, you know, halfway through the battle, and you have to deal with those mephits, which is pretty simple enough if you have, you know, like AoE or you have multi-target spells, but they're still annoying to deal with. The vibe is 7 out of 10. It's really cool. You go in, you're just like, oh yeah, let's, you know, forge some really cool gear. Well, you know, lava comes pouring out of the thing, it's seeping into the forge, you're like, oh, this is cool, we're here. And then this giant mechanical construct comes lumbering out of this hole and is just super imposing, and you're like, oh my god, what do I do with this giant construct? So he's definitely an intimidating presence. And for rewards, I have 9 out of 10, and I mainly say 9 out of 10 because of the adamantine stuff that you can get. It is a huge advantage that you can get in this stage in the game, and it's, you know, you can just forge a couple different things. I think you can forge only up to 2 things though, because you only get 2 mithril ores. I could be wrong with that. I only found 2 mithril ores, but if there's more, let me know in the comments. I kind of wanted to make more adamantine armor and gear. But the adamantine armor and gear is just so nice. It's very good for that level. Not only that, but you do get the Grim Skull helm as a piece of adamantine armor, and so it's already, that's also a good piece of armor and equipment that you can have. And all these adamantine armors, they give you, you know, you can't land crits, you get resistance to fire damage. It's just some really cool stuff that you can get at this stage in the game. So for the total, I had 23 out of 30. Number 4 is Sarevok. Sarevok is extremely difficult, and you can avoid fighting him if you're going evil or dark urge, but eventually, if you are good, you will have to fight him. His difficulty, I had 10 out of 10. He's super high level, very hard to kill. He, you know, gets some really good attacks. He has 3 spirits that are accompanying him, and if you kill those spirits, he gets a buff from you killing those spirits, which only buffs him to ungodly amounts of power. So the more you kill his allies, the harder it is to kill him. He has this really cool and powerful ability where if he deals damage to somebody, he gets a murder strike stack on him. And I mean, if he gets 4 of those, you can do Deathbringer Assault, which is a ridiculously strong multi-attack. You don't want it to happen to you. So, very difficult, very hard to kill, super high AC, a lot of damage. For vibe, I have 8 out of 10. The vibe is just super cool. You're in this murder tribunal area and super dark, dingy, mood lighting, whatever you want to call it. The voice actor is just, he did a really good job. He's got this deep, gravelly voice, super intimidating. And if you read his, you know, if you get into the fight and you read his abilities, and you're like, oh my, this is intense, this is serious. He might actually kill me. For awards, I had 8 out of 10. You do get some really cool stuff with it. I mean, not only do you get the ability to then go kill Orin, but you get some really cool loot with him. You get the Amulet of Baal, which allows you into the temple. You get Sarevok's helmet and his Sword of Chaos. Both of those are really good pieces of loot, and I do highly recommend trying that. Overall, I had him at 26 out of 30. Top 3 favorite bosses, best bosses in Baldur's Gate 3. Number 3 is Raphael. Now, I know Raphael can be a little bit insufferable. He's just, you know, arrogant, poetic in a weird, annoying way. He's just annoying at times, you know? But his boss battle is really cool, really nice. Very difficult, though. For difficulty, I had him at 9 out of 10. The fight is honestly really hard, and if you look at the entire thing, it is overall really difficult. I mean, if you steal the Orphic Hammer, you know, everybody goes on high alert. You have to then make it to the end. You have to go all the way around unless you succeed a really high check on unlocking the door. But you have to go all the way around fighting these giant flaming spheres, the debtors that turn into devils. Once you get to the other side, you can also attempt to save Hope, and if you go try to save Hope, then you have to fight imps and spectators to try and free Hope. Once you get Hope, though, you do get an extra hand in the battle, so that's really nice. But then once you finally make it to the ending chamber, then Raphael comes, he makes this big speech, you show him up, you hopefully can get your gear on your side, and that's a really good benefit as well. So once you get that, you go into the fight. Super cool soundtrack, but he's just really hard to kill. He has like this infernal form that he can turn into, and it buffs him up. He's got these 4 pillars that buff him that you have to destroy. He's got a bunch of cambions around him. It's a lot going on. Very difficult. For vibe, I have 9 out of 10. That's what I was mentioning with the soundtrack. It's super cool. I love that music of the final battle. It just adds to it. But yeah, again, you're fighting this super powerful Cambion. I mean, he's got 666 health. That just adds to it. Fighting a bunch of Cambions around him, marching out there with the Orphic Hammer, finally sticking it to him after him patronizing you the entire campaign. Yeah, it's really cool. Really good vibe. And rewards, you get 9 out of 10 for that. Rewards, super cool. I mean, like I said, it's including all of it as well. I mean, you can get the Orphic Hammer, you can get those boots, that necklace, you can get his armor that he's got on. You get so much loot from going and defeating Raphael. So I do it every single time unless I'm specifically wanting not to, but a lot of times I'm gonna do it every single time. The loot there is just unignorable. So for the total, I had a 27 out of 30 for Raphael. For number 2, I have Merkel. Now, I don't know what you guys think about this, but I know Merkel's an early boss, but he's number 2 on my list. He is a fantastic, well-designed boss battle. I really enjoy the boss battle against Merkel. It is just amazing. For difficulty, I had 9 out of 10. Now, obviously it may not be as strong as Raphael's fight, but I'm thinking comparatively at the level that you're at that point in time, it is very difficult. I die a lot of times to Merkel's fight, and it's not because he's, built for a level 12 party. He's built for the party that you're at, and it is a difficult encounter. He has a bunch of attacks. He gets Bone Chill when you get too close to him. He gets the ability to where if a Necromite sacrifices itself to it, he gets Finger of Death. It's kind of ridiculous how powerful he can be if you don't handle him quickly. Vibe is 10 out of 10. I love the vibe of the fight. I mean, you kill Ketheric. He makes his 3rd monologue, and then falls into the pit. Merkel has a monologue, rises up super dramatic, comes rising up, calls on his scythe. Oh, the visuals are so good. The visuals are beautiful, immaculate, so intimidating and awesome. It makes you not want to fight him because of how epic he came into it. You're just like, nope, I'm dead. You got me. Which makes it even more rewarding when you do kill him. You're like, yeah, that's right. I just killed Merkel, because all that grand entrance, all that powerful abilities, and rewards, 10 out of 10 for the rewards as well. You get, at that stage in your campaign, you get better rewards with Raphael, but at that stage in your campaign, you get access to, obviously, you guess you get access to, Act 3, but you get access to Kethric's armor and his shield. His hammer's all right, but it's mainly that armor that makes it so good. That armor is like amazing if you have a paladin, because you can't be moved by it. You get Howl of the Dead. It's a really cool AC. I mean, you get 19 from it. It's a really good piece of armor. So for Merkel's total, I had 29 out of 30. Number one, all-time best boss is probably self-explanatory. It's just the final battle in general. Now, not a lot of final battles in different games are kind of underwhelming or disappointing, but in my opinion, I don't think that way for Baldur's Gate. I think for Baldur's Gate, the final battle is the pinnacle. It is the climax, most important, best time of Baldur's Gate. Because you walk in, you have all of these people, you have a bunch of mind flayers, you have a bunch of absolutists, spectators, all these enemies that you have to fight in this first area that you need to use all of these allies to help you with. It is a super intense battle, super high stakes, and then you go on to climbing the stairs to the Elder Brain, which is its own challenge because you have things fighting, blowing up, the Nautiloids shooting their weapons at you, and then you're all of a sudden on top of the Nether Brain fighting the giant red dragon, and depending on the choice you did, either 4 countermeasures for your party or the Emperor. Not to mention you also have 4 Illithid Arcanists up at the top as well trying to stop you, and you have to get there, channel those nether stones, and then get to the indomitable will of the Nether Brain. And then that itself is also a super difficult and trying time, because you have to try to kill this Nether Brain before he destroys all the platforms around you. There's just a lot of elements that perfectly stack up against you and makes you feel so satisfied when you get to the end of it. So for difficulty, I have 10 out of 10. As I mentioned before, you have so many different stages of this final battle. You have a lot of enemies. You have those explosions from the Nautiloids. You have this giant red dragon, 4 countermeasures, or the Emperor, and the Illithid Arcanist, and the Indomitable Will that you have to fight against. All of them have different things trying to kill you, and it's very difficult. You have to be very prepared. You have to come with healing. You have to come with your allies. Very difficult fight. Vibe, 10 out of 10. Again, as I mentioned earlier, the feeling, the atmosphere of it, super high stakes, super high risk, and it's just so satisfying when you finally get to the end of it and you defeat the Nether Brain. And depending on if you chose good or evil, you either destroy the Nether Brain and you're like, yeah, we're the heroes, we saved everybody, or you get to take over the world and do whatever you want to do, and you get that power trip of like, yes, I dominated the Nether Brain, I am the leader of the world, or let's plunge the world into ruin. And then rewards, 10 out of 10. You don't get a whole lot of loot from it, but you don't need loot from it. It's the end of the game. So that's reward enough, 10 out of 10. Once you beat the game, once you defeat this end fight, you're done. You completed everything, finished everybody's stories. I think that's reward enough. It's very rewarding defeating a game that has this depth and this difficulty. It's just satisfying. So total, if you haven't figured it out already, is 30 out of 30. Best boss fight in all of Baldur's Gate 3. So that was the best bosses in Baldur's Gate 3, ranked and sorted. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think about these bosses and maybe other bosses that I didn't mention that you really liked. There's a couple of annoying bosses, a couple of smaller bosses that might be higher than some of the ones that I listed. So let me know what you guys think, and I'd be happy to comment in the comments. And if you have any questions whatsoever, just let me know and I'll go ahead and answer them. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next video.